So keeping in mind that if not specified, all the voltages and currents in the steady state AC analysis will be taken as in RMS value. So all the voltage and currents we are going to take as RMS value in any given question if it is not specifically specified to be something else. So let us do some examples to understand clearly. Now in this question, as you can see, it is a RL circuit and the source voltage is 20 volt peak to peak. What is peak to peak? I'll tell you later. And this voltage across this resistance is given as 2 volt and we have to find VL. So how to do it? You cannot directly do KVL in this particular question, and let me tell you why. Uh, since this input source voltage is an AC voltage, it is going to be like this, and 20 volt peak to peak means from this VM to minus VM, this whole voltage is called peak to peak voltage. So this whole thing is given as 20 volt. So from minus VM to 2 VM, from minus VM to VM is totally how much? 2 VM is equal to 20 volts. So VM is equal to 10 volts. So basically we can write this this particular waveforms equation as V is equal to Vm sine omega t, which is nothing but 10 sine omega t. So as I just told you that if not specifically specified, all the voltages given in a particular circuit is taken as RMS value. So here VR is given as 2 volt. So you will by default take it as RMS value. And since here it is specifically specified that it is peak to peak voltage, you have to calculate the RMS value for it. So this, the VM is given. So for a sinusoidal wave, what is VRMS? VRMS is nothing but Vm upon under root 2. So it will be 10 by under root 2, right? So this is your VRMS value. Now, if we go back to the phasor diagram for RL circuit, we had made this as VL, this as VR, and the resultant as the final voltage V, or in this case, this RMS value. So this VR is already given as how much? 2 volt. This VRMS we just calculated as 10 by root 2, and now we have to calculate VL. So you can see that it is not simple summation. You cannot just go for KVL and find the value of VL, because since here phasors are involved and not all the voltages are in the same phase. So how to find VL? You know that the magnitude of VRMS is nothing but the under root of square of VR plus VL square, right? This is simple mathematics. So if you put all these values, 10 by under root 2 is equal to under root 2 pi square plus VL square. So from here, you can find VL is equal to how much? Under root 46 volt, right? So this is very important for you to consider that in a question of steady state AC circuits, to find voltage across any element, you have to rely upon the phasor diagrams. You cannot just apply KVL and uh, you cannot just apply summation and find the output voltages. So to remove your confusion, if you want to write a KVL equation for the circuit we just solved, it has to be written as V is equal to, or since we calculated VRMS, let me write it as VRMS is equal to the voltage across R plus J times voltage across L. So you have to apply this particular J so that the magnitude of Vrms will come out to be VR square plus VL square. So why did we apply J? Because this voltage VL is at a 90-degree phase with respect to VR, right? So let us move to another example. So for a given circuit, the voltage and current equations are given. As you can see in this two equation, voltage has a plus 45-degree phase and current has a minus 45-degree phase. So if you draw a phasor with respect to 0-degree phase, the voltage will be at an angle of positive 45 degree and the current will be at an angle of minus 45 degree with respect to 0-degree phase. So what is the angle going to be between Vt and It? It is going to be, this whole angle is going to be 90 degree, right? So in which case the voltage leads, here the voltage is leading from current, right, by 90 degree. So in which case the voltage leads the current? In an inductor case, right? So in this circuit, the equation for voltage and current is given and you have to find that element and its value. So clearly, since voltage leads the current by 90 degree, the element is definitely an inductor, and to find its value, we have to do some calculations. So it is definitely an inductor, and for an inductive circuit, pure inductive circuit, can you tell me why it is a pure inductive circuit? Why is it not a combination of resistance and inductor? Because the phase between voltage and current is 90 degree. In the case of RL circuit or even RC circuit, this phase difference theta is going to be between 0 to 90 degree. And since it is completely 90 degree, it is a pure inductor case. And if it was minus 90 degree, it would have been a pure capacitive case. So since it is an inductor, we know the relation, just we did the relationship that V is equal to J XL into I. We just did this. V can be instantaneous value or it can be RMS value, doesn't matter. So uh, from these two equations, if we take this current as a reference point, let us take this current as a reference point, then this Vt is at 90 degree phase difference. So if we call It as reference point, then this Vt will have a J point multiplied to the Vt. Why J point? Because this J is nothing but e to the power J pi by 2, which represent a plus 90 degree of phase shift, right? So I actually wrote it in a wrong way. So let me tell you this t minus 45 degree as t dash. So what will this become? If t minus 45 degree is t dash, then t plus 45 degree is t dash plus 90 degree, right? So we can rearrange this equation as Vt is equal to 9 sine t dash plus 90 degree, and It is obviously 3 sine t dash. So this equation can be rewritten as Vt is equal to, we can take the 90 degree out and we can directly put J as we did earlier, 9 times sine t dash, and It will be equal to 3 sine t dash. So this is your equation 1, this is your equation 2. Now from this and these two equations, if we put these two equations in this equation, we can find J9 sine t dash is equal to J into XL into, what is I? 3 sine t dash, right? So what will we have? We will have this sine t dash cancelled out. This j will also be cancelled out, and this 3 will cancel 3 by 3. So we will have XL is equal to 3. Now what is the value of XL? In the case of inductor, it was nothing but omega L will be equal to 3. And if you analyze this equation and compare it with Vt is equal to Vm sine omega t plus theta, you will find that this omega value is nothing but 1. So since omega is equal to 1, we will have L is equal to 3 Henry. So this is our answer. So our circuit is an inductive circuit whose value is 3 Henry. Now let's come to the parallel case. In the series case, we applied KVL. In the parallel case, we will do our analysis based on KCL. So let's take this node A and apply KCL on this. So we will have current I will be equal to V upon R plus V upon JXL. So JXL is the impedance of this inductor. So we can write it as I is equal to V upon R minus J times, since this J, if it goes to numerator, it will become minus J, right? And this will be V upon XL. So this thing can be called as IR. This thing can be called as IL. So if we call this equation as 1, so this equation 1 can be rewritten as I is equal to IR minus J IL. Now if we multiply V on the both side of equation 1, we will get Vi is equal to V square upon R minus J V square upon XL. So this is nothing but the equation for power, and this Vi can be called as apparent power S. This is active power P minus J time our reactive power QL. So this gives our equation 2. Now again from the equation 1, if we take V as common, so we will get I is equal to V as common 1 by R minus J upon XL. So if we say that this whole impedance is Z, so we can write I as V upon Z is equal to V times 1 by R minus 1 by XL. So we can cancel out V from both the sides, and we will get 1 by Z is equal to 1 by R, sorry, this is J minus J upon XL. So from here, let us say 1 by Z as Y, 1 by R as G, and 1 by XL as BL. So this is nothing but admittance. This YL is called admittance. G is called conductance. And BL is called susceptance. Right? So this equation will become Y is equal to G minus JBL. So this is going to be your equation number 3. So from this equation, so from this equation, and this equation, can you say, is there any similarity? Yes, the phasor diagram for all the 3 equations is going to be same. So let us draw the phasor diagram. So if we take IR in this direction, and since you know that since this voltage V is across resistor R, so the phase of V and the phase of IR is going to be the same. So in the same direction, we can say that V has also in the same phase as IR. Now you can see that this IL current has a minus 90-degree phase with respect to IR. So we can say that IL will be in this direction. And what will be the phasor summation of these two currents, IL and IR? Obviously, it is going to be I. So if we talk about the magnitude of this theta, it should be tan inverse IL upon IR. So I'm just taking the magnitude. You can put the negative sign as your own wish. Similarly, for the impedance case also, we can draw impedance case, and this power case, we can draw the phasors in the same way. So this is the phasor for power. This is the phasor for admittance function. So the unit for admittance, conductance, and susceptance is going to be same, and it is called mho, MHO mho. Now the power factor for this circuit will again be cos theta, and it is nothing but from that previous diagram, phasor diagram, this was IR, this was IL, and this was total current I. So the cos theta is nothing but IR divided by magnitude of I, which is nothing but equal to G upon Y, which is nothing but equal to P upon magnitude of S, right? So this is your power factor. And since I already told you that whether the power factor is leading or lagging, it depends on whether the current is leading or lagging with respect to the voltage. So here, as you can see, the voltage in this same phase and this final current is actually lagging with respect to voltage. So the power factor here in this case will be lagging. Now, similarly, in the case of parallel RC circuit, if we write KCL at point A, we will get I is equal to V upon R plus V upon 1 upon j omega c. Or we can just write it as minus j xc. Okay, so this equation can be, and since this whole combination can be called as z, similar to the previous case, we can call it as v upon z is equal to v upon r, sorry, plus this minus j, when it goes to nominator, it will become plus j. So it will become j times v upon xc. So similar to the previous case, we can multiply v to both the sides. So we will get s is equal to p plus j qc. In the last case, it was minus j ql. In this case, it is j qc. Let us call this as equation 1. Now from here, if we take v as common and cancel out from both the sides, we will get 1 by z is equal to 1 by r plus j upon xc. And we can rewrite it as, in the case of 1 by z, it will become y, which is admittance, is equal to 1 by r, which we can write it as conductance, plus j times, we will call it tc, which is capacitive susceptance. So this is our equation number 2. And finally, if we write it in the terms of I, from here, this can be termed as IC, and this can be termed as IR. So we will get, and this is obviously I. So we will get I is equal to IR plus j IC. This is your equation number 3. And similar to the previous case, we will quickly draw phasors. So if this is IR, then definitely IC is going to be in a leading phase. So this will become IC. And what is going to be your final current? Your final current is going to be this. And since this voltage is directly across R, the phase of V and IR is going to be same. So we can further write this, the phase of V is in the same direction as IR. So what you can say is that in this circuit, parallel RC circuit, the current is leading the voltage by an angle theta. And what will be the value of that theta? Theta is nothing but tan inverse IC upon IR. Now, we can similarly make phasor diagram for power and admittance case. So in the case of admittance, we can just write G here, VC here, and we will get Y here. Theta will be same. And similarly, in the case of power, we will get P here, we will get QC here, and the final power will be S like this. So this is about parallel RC circuit. Now let me quickly add that according to these diagrams, cos theta, which is power factor, will be equal to IR upon magnitude of I, which will be equal to G upon magnitude of Y, which will be equal to P upon magnitude of S. So what will this power factor be? Is it leading or lagging? So since you can see that current is from here, you can see that current is leading the voltage V. We can say that this is a leading power factor, right? Now, similar to the previous cases, if we talk about parallel RLC circuit, let us apply KCL at A. So we will have I is equal to V upon R plus V upon JXL plus V upon minus JXC. So similar to the previous cases of RL and RC parallel cases, we can directly write it as, since this I is nothing but V upon Z, as this whole thing can be called as Z. So we can directly write as 1 by Z is equal to 1 by R minus J upon XL plus J upon XC. So this can be written as Y is equal to G plus J times BC minus BL. So as you can very easily say that if BC is greater than BL, then definitely in this case 1, the circuit is going to work as parallel RC circuit. So everything will be same, and we can call this thing as B net, right? So this will be exactly same as the parallel RC circuit, and the BC will be replaced by B net. And in the case 2, if BC is less than BL, then in this case it will be nothing but a parallel RL circuit. So BC is less than BL, the circuit will be behaving as parallel RL circuit. And in the last case, if BC is equal to BL, we are just going to be a simple case of R circuit, right? So we have already done the R circuit. So everything is going to be same. And let us quickly draw the phasors so that our comprehension of this topic is complete. So as it is very clear that if we take resistive current IR in this direction, then definitely the inductive current should be taken at a 90-degree negative phase with respect to IR and IL, and obviously IC will be in positive 90-degree direction. So let us assume the example of case 1 where IC is slightly greater than IL. So we will get a net value here. So the final current I will be like that, right? So this I net is nothing but IC minus IL. And we will also have the same phase as IR because this V is directly in parallel to R, and we know that the voltage drop across R has the same phase as the current flowing through it. So IR and V should be of same phase. Similarly, the phasor of admittance function will also be like that. So G will be in this direction. BL will be in this direction. BC in this. And in this case, let us suppose BL is BC is less than BL in this case. So our phasor will be like this. So this is going to be our admittance function. Let us call this as phi, right? So this is how we make phasors, and I hope you understood these topics well. So definitely when BC is less than BL, the circuit will be behaving as an parallel RL circuit. So definitely the current will be lagging with respect to voltage, and that is why the power factor will also be called lagging. And if BC is greater than BL, then in that case the circuit will be working as a parallel RC circuit, and current will be leading the voltage, and in that case the power factor will be leading. So I hope you understood this whole topic. Now let us consider an example. Here, as you can see, there is a parallel RLC circuit, and there is a current of 5 ampere entering the resistance. The current in the capacitor has to be known, has to be calculated, and the current that is entering the combined branches of R and C is 13 ampere. The current in the inductor is 2 microampere, and the total current entering in this combination is I. So we have to find IC and I. So if you just see this section, what you see, there is a voltage across an RC circuit. So you just studied that in case of RC circuit, uh, we can directly draw a phasor diagram. Wait. Just a minute. Yeah. So let me draw the phasor diagram. We just did it in the case of RC parallel circuit. So this is going to be your IR, which is nothing but 5 ampere, and this current is going to be your IC, and this is the resultant current, which is nothing but its magnitude is given as 13 ampere. So what is the relation between these three components? So 13 is nothing but equal to IR square plus IC square. So 13 is equal to under root 5 square plus IC square. So from here we can directly calculate our IC to be 12 ampere, right? Now, since we know IC is equal to 12 ampere now, we can find the value of I. So for the whole RLC circuit, parallel circuit, we saw the phasor diagram as this. IR, this will be IC, this is going to be IL. And since we know that IC is 12 ampere and IL is very, very less at 2 microampere, so the resultant current I net, which is IC minus IL, is almost going to be equal to how much? Sorry, we just calculated it to be 12 ampere, right? And IR was 5 ampere. So your final current I would definitely be equal to under root IR square plus I net square, and I net is nothing but IC minus IL. And since IL is only 2 microampere, which is very less with respect to 12 ampere of IC, this IL can be neglected and we got I net as 12 ampere. So we will get under root 5 square plus 12 square. So this will come out to be 13 ampere. So similar to the previous example that we did for series RLC case, here in parallel case also, we cannot directly apply KCL and add all the currents, because the currents in inductor, capacitor and resistor have different phases. So we have to do the phasor summation. So this is how it will be done. Now let us do one more very important example. So in this case, as you can see that in the first branch, we have a combination of resistor and inductor, and in the second branch, we have only a capacitor. So we have to find the value of C when the power factor of the circuit is 0.8 lagging, right? So let us apply KCL. Let me call this as V, since the value of this V is also given as sine T. So this Vt is given as sine T, and if you compare it with standard form of Vm sine omega t, we will get that Vm is equal to 1 volt and omega is equal to 1 radian per second, right? So from this you can get this. Now moving to the KCL part, so we will get I is equal to I1 plus I2. Since I have taken this current as I1, this as I2, right? So we can write now. If we call this whole load as Z, so we can write V divided by Z is nothing but, what is I1? I1 is the combination. I1 is the ratio of voltage to the combination of this resistor and inductor. So let me call this as Z1. So this will be V upon Z1 plus, what is this? This is capacitor, and we can write it as minus J XC, right? Now, let us focus on this Z1 first. So what is Z1? We can cancel this V from both the sides. So we will get Y is equal to 1 upon Z1 is the summation of this resistance and this the impedance of this inductor. So we can write it as R plus J omega L. So you can also say this as XL. And what is the value of XL? XL is nothing but, wait a minute, XL is nothing but omega L, right? So you already know that omega's values is 1 and L is 1 Henry and R is 1 ohm. So we will finally put it, but let us do this thing first. Plus 1 divided by minus J. What is the value of XC? It is 1 upon omega C. So from here we will get Y is equal to 1 upon 1 plus J, right? So how did we get this? Since omega is 1 and L is also 1 and R is also 1, we will get Y is equal to 1 upon 1 plus J. Let us take this minus J to the denominator. So we will get plus J upon 1 upon omega C. So finally what we are going to get, since in the denominator here we have 1 plus J, if we want to take this complex term to the numerator, what we will do is we will multiply both numerator and denominator to the complex conjugate of 1 plus j. So let us multiply both numerator and denominator by 1 minus j. So we will get 1 minus j upon 1 plus j into 1 minus j plus this will be j omega c. So omega c will go to the numerator, it will become j omega c. So finally, the multiplication of 1 plus j and 1 minus j will give you 1 plus 1, which is 2. So we will get 1 minus j upon 2 plus j omega c. So what we will finally get? We will get y is equal to 1 by 2 plus, sorry, minus j by 2 plus j, and since omega is equal to 1, I am directly going to write it as c. Okay. So let me quickly clear this. So from here we will get y is equal to 1 by 2 plus j. If we take common, we will have c minus 1 by 2. So this is the equation of your admittance function. From the previous discussions, if we draw the phasor diagram of y, this will be our 1 by 2. This will be our c minus 1 by 2, since it is having this plus j component, and this final thing will be our y, right? Now, since it is said that the power factor is lagging and its value is 0.8, so we can say that cos theta is equal to 0.8. From this diagram, can you tell me what is the value of cos theta? From here, cos theta is equal to, this is 1 by 2, so it will be a ratio of 1 by 2 divided by under root 1 by 2 ka whole square plus c minus 1 by 2 ka whole square. So this is already given as 0.8. So if you solve this equation, you will get your c as either you will get it as either 7 by 8 or 1 by 8, right? Because you are going to get a quadratic equation. Now, since it is clearly mentioned that our power factor is lagging, so when is our power factor is lagging in a parallel RLC circuit? When the circuit, uh, do you remember in which case, in the RL case or RC case, the power factor was lagging? It was basically in the RL case when the current was lagging with respect to the voltage. So in RL case, we were seeing that the overall impedance function was in negative direction, and so the current actually lagged from the voltage by an angle theta. So in that case, if you see this particular question, for this to happen, for this particular branch to go downwards, what will have to be happen? This value C minus 1 by 2 should be negative. C minus 1 by 2 must be negative, so that the power factor will be lagging and this whole circuit will be working as an RL parallel circuit. So since we have already got, there is a two possibility of C value, which is 7 by 8 and 1 by 8. So which value will bring this particular value as negative? If we take 7 by 8, will it be negative? No. So we have to take C's value as 1 by 8. So if we take C value as 1 by 8, this whole C minus 1 by 2 becomes negative. So our final answer is C is equal to 1 by 2 farad. Thank you.